Man, I love tea. It's actually cold now because I meant to make this video about an hour ago. So pro with this. Lainey's Harry Potter Halloween Feast was fantastic. I gave myself a haircut. And I've obtained a VCR for my tiny PlayStation TV. That guy is leaf blowing. I don't know where he's blowing the leaves. Because he's blowing them around, but it doesn't look like he's directing them in any direction. He just is moving them. Like it doesn't look like he's actually gonna rake them up or anything. I don't understand. Well, it doesn't look like he's gonna stop, so might as well keep going with the video. So this week's theme is... I forgot already. This week's theme is your favorite passage from a book. It's very hard for me to choose. If you've been to my channel, you know that I do book reviews every week, just about. So I read a lot of books, and I don't necessarily remember specific passages, which is a problem for a theme like this a little bit. I can't even think of a book that I've read over and over and over because I like how it is written, other than Lost Souls by Poppy Z. Bright, but I'd have to read out the entire book in order to quote my favorite passage. So you get two good passages that may or may not be my favorite. I cannot remember. Surprise, I never remember anything. In fact, it took me about 45 minutes to find this book to read out a passage because I couldn't remember where I put it. And then I started to think that maybe I'd made up the fact that I bought this and couldn't remember whether I actually owned it. What is my life coming to? I don't even know. I've always really enjoyed Adams's introductions to his books because they don't necessarily tell you what's happened beforehand, but it kind of gets your brain in the right mindset. So one of my favorite passages is the introduction from The Restaurant at the End of the Universe, which reads, "There is a theory which states that if ever anyone discovers exactly what the universe is for and why it is here, it will instantly disappear and be replaced by something even more bizarre and inexplicable. There is another which states that this has already happened." No surprise there. The Hitchhiker's Guide series is one of my favorite book series. Unsurprisingly, the next passage I have is also from a British author from another one of my favorite series, Soul Music by Terry Pratchett. It was difficult to find a particular passage in this book because a lot of this book appeals to me because of how it feels, because it's about music, and music is feeling, not necessarily interpretation with your face, which is what reading is. But I found a particularly interesting little section about homelessness, from the point of view of Death. They were invisible people, Death realized. He was used to invisibility. It went with the job. Humans didn't see him until they had no choice. On the other hand, he was an anthropomorphic personification, whereas Foul Old Ron was human, at least technically. Foul Old Ron made a small living by following people until they gave him money not to. He'd also got a dog, which added something to Foul Old Ron's smell. It was a grayish-brown terrier with a torn ear and vast patches of bare skin. It begged with an old hat in its remaining teeth, and since people will generally give to animals that which they'd withhold from humans, it added considerably to the earning power of the group. Coffin Henry, on the other hand, earned his money by not going anywhere. People organizing important social occasions sent him anti-invitations and little presents of money to ensure he wouldn't turn up. This was because, if they didn't, Henry had a habit of sidling ingratiatingly into the wedding party and inviting people to look at his remarkable collection of skin diseases. He also had a cough which sounded almost solid. He had a sign on which was chalked, "For some money, I won't follow you home, cough, cough." Arnold Sideways had no legs. It was the lack that didn't seem to figure largely among his concerns. He would grab people by their knees and say, "Have you got change for a penny?" invariably profiting by the ensuing cerebral confusion. And the one they called the Duck Man had a duck on his head. No one mentioned it. No one drew attention to it. It seemed to be a minor feature of no consequence, like Arnold's leglessness and Foul Old Ron's independent smell, or Henry's volcanic spitting. but it kept nagging at Death's otherwise peaceful mind. He wondered how to broach the subject. After all, he thought, he must know, mustn't he? It's not like lint on your jacket or something. By common agreement, they'd called Death Mr. Scrub. He didn't know why. On the other hand, he was among people who could hold a lengthy discussion with a door. There may have been a logical reason. The beggars spent their day wandering invisibly around the streets, where people who didn't see them carefully circled out of their way and threw them the occasional coin. Mr. Scrub fitted in very well. When he asked for money, people found it hard to say no. I mean, that's interesting because of the commentary on homelessness and how people view homeless people. And Terry Pratchett has a way of doing that with just about any subject. It gets at your brain saying there's something screwy here. Sociologically and psychologically interesting. I keep trying to think of other things I need to include in this video, but I don't actually really need to include much else. So, Lindsay, I will see you in December. Vegerson, the orange one, I will see you on Wednesday, and Lainey, I will see you on Friday.